Welcome to our brand new show called Duel of the Debates. You may also know us from our other channel, Seen It Before. But this is Duel of the Debates, where we get together. We get me and my co-host Dan, who does not have a camera, but he has a mic. And we get together and with two guests. And we have three fighters, and we all argue a question, and we try to come down to who's right in this situation. And Dan will be our judge.
Yeah, this is our new channel here, Duel of the Debates. We have a couple guests today. We got James and Cameron. They're back, and I'm glad to have these guys on because these guys are going to fight, and they're going to fight for their right to win this.
And
it's
to party.
Be interesting.
I'ma certainly try.
All right, I love that. I really love that. Danny, do you want to start to explain the rules, or do you want to wait until after the intro for that?
Let's just do it right now.
All right, let's go for it.
The objective is to convince the judge, Dan in this case, why your pick for the question is correct and the other fighters' picks are stupid and wrong.
Yes. Yes.
And the rules, the arguments, there needs to be objective reasoning behind why you chose your answer. Example, John Wick is better because Keanu Reeves looks like my cool band teacher from 8th grade is not an acceptable argument.
I disagree, but okay. We can
civility.
debate about it if you'd like.
Ooh.
Let's duel a debate. There needs to be civility. We're all friends here. And although we can be passionate, there will be no sincere attacks on people's characters, ad hominem attacks.
Yes.
We're all friends here.
Yes.
Objectivity. When deciding the winner, Dan, the arguments need to be based on the objectivity of the arguments presented.
Yes.
Example, I like Danny's pick because he's amazing is not an acceptable reasoning, even though it is true.
Again, that is debatable.
I guarantee it's going to be wrong.
No, it's not.
That's debatable. That's a
We're
good
debating.
name for a show.
All right, let's get to the timing.
You had a segment.
The times we have opening arguments are 1 minute per fighter. Rebuttal arguments are 1 minute per fighter. We have a free-for-all section where stopped at the judge's discretion because we'll end up getting into a loop of just the same things.
Oh, yeah.
And the closing arguments are 1 minute per fighter. And that is the end of our little explanation.
All right,
Yay!
good to go here.
Good
And,
slide work, Danny.
So what's our topic today, Danny?
The topic today is unpopular opinion, a movie that you liked but everybody else hates, and why your pick is better.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get to it.
Wow.
I know.
That was epic.
This is
Friggin' dope.
that graphic and all the graphics we're going to be playing throughout the episode is what I've been working on the past week.
Yeah, I might not have been ready before, but I am ready now. Ready to fight.
Yeah,
Ready
Duel
to
of the
fight?
Debates. You
Yeah.
got you amped up, you know?
Well, James, if you're ready to fight, you're up first, baby.
Whoa.
So,
Spoke too soon.
all right, what is your... Actually, let's go around the table. What are your picks? James, what's your pick?
My unpopular movie that nobody else likes, 1998's Armageddon.
Considering I've never been this scared in my entire life.
Will be man's finest.
It's a good one.
Armageddon.
Wonderful.
Me?
Yep.
Freddy Got Fingered, written and directed by Tom Green.
Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
I saw James's reaction immediately. He's just like, oh, my God.
Yeah. When you said that one, I'm just like, what? Oh, my God.
Danny?
Mine is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Sick.
Basic. What the fuck you mean?
Dan, you're already being not objective.
Objectivity,
I'm being
Dan.
an asshole.
God.
It's fine. It's fine. All right.
He's an equal opportunity asshole.
Exactly. You're all going to get it. So, all right. So, James, you are the first to start off. You got a minute for your opening statements starting now.
Armageddon is 1998's Michael Bay's masterpiece classic about space travel and disaster porn. I mean, that is the way to put it. Like movies of Day After Tomorrow or the movie that came out at the same time with the same premise, Deep Impact, which not nearly as good. Armageddon stars a stellar A-list cast of absolutely stacked names, still relevant 25 plus 27 years later. Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Steve Buscemi, Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Jason Isaacs, Michael Clark Duncan.
Duncan,
Yeah. Just absolutely stacked cast. And how about that soundtrack? When I first heard of this movie, it was because of the soundtrack. As an Aerosmith fan, I listened to the soundtrack, and it had amazing songs, including ZZ Top, John Bon Jovi, Bob Seger. But, I mean, you don't want to miss a thing.
Wow.
Nailed it in
Look
1
at
minute.
that timing. Look at that
Good
timing.
work, James. Good work.
All right. Now, Cameron, you're the next up.
Okay.
And you are on the clock.
Thank you. Roger Ebert said after watching Freddy Got Fingered about a year later, he said, "I remember Freddy Got Fingered more than a year later. I refer to it sometimes. It is a milestone. And for all its sins, it was at least an ambitious movie, a go-for-broke attempt to accomplish something. And that something, I believe, is satire. Let's look at the gross-out comedies of the 90s. We've got There's Something About Mary, Ace Ventura, South Park, American Pie. There's something weird about those movies. And I think what Freddy Got Fingered does is it just turns up the dial to maybe a little bit past 11 and takes those gross out tropes and pushes them to the extreme. I'll get into it later on. But what I would like to do is present the definition of satire. It's the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and critique people's stupidity or vices. And I think that's what Tom Green does. Whether you like it or not, I think it is a very strong piece of satire that paved the way for other extreme comedy minds of our current generation. I'm thinking of Eric Andre.
All right.
Just Eric Andre.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Danny, you are
All
up,
right.
and you are on the
I got to free ball this one because I didn't write any notes for this.
clock.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I believe it's underrated because it reintroduced Star Wars to the 90s generation of kids, me included, where I was in the prequel generation. I love it for being so layered and a little more complex, and that's the reason I think it's underrated, because people were expecting a simple space opera story that they established in the early 80s, but it's just not that. It's that and more. It's a complex political intrigue film on top of being a cool, fun adventure movie. While it might not blend together so well sometimes, I do think there's a lot more to this movie than people have initially looked at. And because the sequels have come out and Disney has this new era of Star Wars, people are looking back and being like, okay, they're objectively viewing this movie in an objective lens now, instead of just being like, oh, it's not what I wanted the first time.
All right.
Good work, Danny.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Nicely done.
My heart is racing.
Heart's racing, eh? All right. So, I mean, at this point, I'm going to let you guys go free for all. And if I have any questions, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to ask the question. And you're going to just
no
give me
one
the
What about
answer.
our 1 minute rebuttal?
Yeah, there's
Do you guys have a rebuttal?
What do we-
you
I
guys-
have a
you guys have
rebuttal.
rebuttals? Okay.
I've been planning
It's
my
all-
rebuttal.
Yeah. The opening argument, we say what's good about ours, and then the
then we say
rebuttals
what's
we
shit
shit all
about
over
theirs.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I missed that. I was looking over the notes and I just missed that.
I told you this would happen. I fucking told you.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. So we're going to move on to rebuttals. So I'm going to change the order up here. Danny's going first. So,
okay.
Danny, you got to rebut against, I guess, whoever. So
It's
three,
rebute, actually.
Remote.
but
You know what? I'm gonna rebuke. Get off the phone. No, I'm just kidding.
3, 2, 1. You're on the clock.
Okay, so Armageddon. I think it's a nothing burger of a movie. Honestly, it's fun, but can you honestly say after 1998, do you go back and watch this? I think you watch Phantom Menace way more. Because it doesn't have that. It's not even the best Michael Bay movie. They literally reuse shots from Transformers, they use the shots from this movie in Transformers. I'm like, that's just a fucking Transformers shot. And I think it's basically just a 2-hour music video for Aerosmith. Freddy Got Fingered is not a movie. I don't understand. It's not satire. I think it's just an attempt at the first version of anti-comedy, and it fails at that attempt because it just makes me mad. It's so illogical. I don't find it funny in any sense, and Roger Ebert is just wrong in that sense. Sure, it might be memorable, but those other movies you mentioned, they're a lot better and make more sense.
All right. Thank you, Danny. And we're going to move on to Cameron.
Okay.
Cameron, whenever you are ready. Are you good? All right. 3, 2, 1. Here you go.
Yeah, so The Phantom Menace, when I first watched it as a child, I honestly don't recall anything, and so I don't really have that kind of nostalgic connection to it. So I'm kind of looking at it from a little bit more of an objective standpoint, and that would be that the final act is just so underdeveloped for me that the action ends up feeling lackluster, because even though we're building up to what we remember are the great moments of the exciting Anakin flying around and the Darth Maul fight, for me, they're undercooked, and they're never even exciting anymore. And also, I would even argue that maybe it's not a guilty pleasure anymore because it is being reclaimed. James, Armageddon, you said it's Michael Bay's masterpiece from 1998. That's right. He only made one movie in 1998. So I do agree with you on that. I think we should have stopped Michael Bay when we had the chance, quite honestly. And then also the fact that there's about 6 or 7 writers attributed to the movie. It's kind of shocking. Even one of them is J.J. Abrams, I'd like to add. It's also just incredibly cookie cutter that for me just kind of blends together. I thought I was watching Independence Day for 1 second until the camera started flying around. I'm sorry.
All right. No, you're good. You're good. All right.
Your opinions suck.
No. Opinions are
There's
beautiful.
no attacks on character.
It's a minute-long version.
All right, James. You good? All
Just
right.
about, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. You're on the clock.
All right, how can Michael Bay reuse shots in Armageddon from Transformers if it came out a
corrected it.
decade plus later?
I corrected it.
But anyway, Armageddon inspired Transformers, not vice versa, just because you saw a part of Armageddon last night for the first time. But Phantom Menace, we'll save that for the end. Freddy Got Fingered. What a god-awful, terrible movie. I just couldn't believe that I saw it when I did. Maybe it was a bad day when I saw it. It was a bad day, but just nothing has ever made me so mad and upset and angry. I'd like to point out on Letterboxd, look at all that. All these are the positive reviews. I give very good reviews. Freddy Got Fingered holds the only spot of my half-star bottom most possible review I could give it, because it is just so upsetting of a movie. I just can't even, there's nothing more I can say about it because it pissed me off so much. And then Phantom Menace, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. That was
That was good.
fire.
You're like, yeah.
Yeesh.
You take that one.
Yeah. Okay. I have one question for Cameron real quick.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate more on the final act of Phantom Menace being undercooked?
Yes. So I remember the lightsaber fight between Obi, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul being this incredibly epic thing. What is it, like 5 minutes or something? It goes by so quick that I think to pin an entire movie on the Darth Maul character and whatnot in the reappraisal, I find that to just be disappointing for me. Does that make sense, Dan?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you.
on Duel of the Debates, your least favorite part is Duel of the Fates.
That's why we called it that.
Look at that. Good work.
Who's we? I came up with the name.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
Did the graphics.
Any other
Yes,
questions?
you did. You did a hell of a job on these graphics. So
Thank you.
kudos
You did
to
you did a hell of a good job naming this show.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Come back for more of those. Anyway, so now we're gonna get into our free for all section. So
She's a
you guys
girl.
got a bunch of time, and I'm gonna stop you when I have a question. So have at it.
Well, I just want to get this off my chest.
Please.
I hate Freddy Got. I hate that.
Yeah,
movie.
me too.
So I made a list.
Yes,
of
please.
things I would rather do than watch Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, this could be helpful.
I'd rather watch a live water birth.
Okay.
I would rather hang out with an annoying coworker alone.
Ooh.
I would rather watch a documentary about shoelaces and then hang myself with the
No,
shoelaces.
Danny, don't do that to yourself.
I'd rather break my own fingers.
Okay.
I'd rather churn butter.
Gotcha.
I'd rather raw dog a 12-hour flight.
Oh.
I'd rather eat soup from a place with an F health rating.
Okay.
I'd rather mow a wheat field with a push mower.
Ooh.
Watch my childhood puppy be euthanized.
Okay.
And watch Skylar White sing Happy Birthday.
Very good reference.
Yeah, he is right. That is it. Every single one of those things I would rather do before watching Freddy Got Fingered again.
Well, it's actually nice because Tom Green does give you the opportunity to watch a childbirth in the film because you have that lovely
I
sequence in the
felt like
hospital.
that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so I think that sequence
Not
is,
his version of it, though.
it's a total joke on the film because you have these weird, like, dubs going on where people are just going wig wig wom wom wibby dabba doo bop. I think it's totally just a joke on the financiers who greenlit the film. And I find that to be really, really funny because I'd much rather watch that than a boring comedy. Because
Okay, but like, what's boring about Something About Mary and Dodgeball and all those movies that they're kind of...
Because it's just so easy. It's so easy. And also, I think there's also just something creepy about There's Something About Mary. The whole, like, stalker subtext going on, it always weirded me out.
But like, there's something about her, you know?
Yeah,
There's
no,
gotta-
there is something about
Okay,
her.
maybe there are undertones. There's subtext about stalker
Right.
and creepiness. There's text about this guy jerking off a horse.
Well, yeah.
In this movie.
Which also, I do want to point out that there was a veterinarian on site, that everything, and also that horse was...
Oh, they did that for real?
Yes,
That
they
was
did that for
real,
real.
yeah.
Because that is a horse that is used for breeding. It is a horse that is used to that kind of thing. So I think
stud.
A stud, exactly. So I think there was nothing non-ethical about that.
No, I'm not saying...
I don't think there's anything ethical at all about
it's just-
that. And he's just screaming at this poor horse where he's trying to get off.
I say-
It's really weird, man.
The non-ethical part is me having to watch it.
Well, listen, you know,
I don't care if everything... Oh, we made that... We everything made sure the horse was comfortable.
it's
And then
good.
I don't want to watch that.
well,
All
I'm
I can
sorry.
think of when I think of Freddy Got Fingered is just the line from Eminem's song, like, sometimes I just want to get on TV and let loose, but can't, but it's cool for Tom Green to hump a dead moose.
Oh,
Yeah, like, come on. There's a whole
Even
debate
Eminem's on
about-
our side.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
then
there's
you are
this whole
in very
debate
good
about
company.
wait, how far can you push satire and being outlandish? Because Eminem tries to do that, and he often gets critiqued for it. I mean, I say that as he's one of the most well-known, famous rappers in the world.
Exactly.
He doesn't get critiqued that heavily.
Exactly.
But
Tom
it
Green
often.
is the white Eminem. He is.
Wait.
Yeah, but when he told me that yesterday,
Yeah, no, it's-
I was like, it took me a minute
I think-
because I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, haha, and then I was talking to Gavin for a quick. I'm like, the white Eminem.
Wait.
I owe that to Connor O'Malley. And then also, I do want to point out the other kind of characters that populate Freddy Got Fingered. You have it's so horrible that it's funny is the child that keeps getting hurt. The child, because, you know, it's the idea of slapstick. It's almost like the Three Stooges. What if the Three Stooges was realistic? The kid falls down and smacks his head on the car. And then he comes up and his teeth are falling out and he's bleeding and crying and whatnot. It's this idea of trying to highlight, you know, maybe there's something mean-spirited about comedy. And it really makes me, at least, think about comedy and my relationship to it. And I really love that. And then, of course, there's the love interest character. All I want to do is suck your cock. And then she says it again. And it's like
Like the same. I don't remember this. part.
she said it's when they're up on the helicopter. They're on the helicopter and the blades are whirring and that's all she wants to do. And so what Tom Green is doing is that he's pointing out how horrible love interest characters can be written. And I think that's really, really funny to me. And I think it's a perfect satire.
What's the satire trying to get to though? It's
trying to
It kind of
show-
seems like even if the satire is you're bringing up a bunch of different angles about something. It's not necessarily like a South Park satire where they're trying to criticize an actual real life events.
Right. No.
It's like a bunch of different small pieces of how a movie's put together
Right.
in different genres.
I
I'm not
would
even
say
sure.
the specific genre would be romantic comedies.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Adam Sandlers, the Farrelly, the gross out kind of stuff. American Pie.
Okay.
That's what I would say it is.
Well, American Pie is very different from 50 First Dates.
That's true. That's very true. Yes. Yeah. So I think there is kind of he's casting a wide net in that scenario. But
All right, James, let's talk about Armageddon a little bit more. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little more of why you like the movie?
I love the movie because firstly, it was just such a special place for me because I watched it when I was 12. And it was just one of those movies that it was one of the first movies I seeked out on my own. No external influence guided me towards it. Because like I was saying in my first opening argument, I liked Aerosmith. They had a soundtrack that was like mostly them for Armageddon. It was like, this music seems good. I'm going to watch the movie just for the music alone. And then the movie itself is just this disaster porn action flick of just a man trying to save the world and save his daughter at the same time. And there's so much, to me, heartfelt, sweet emotion in it. And there is quite literally sweet emotion in it.
Ha ha ha.
by Aerosmith. Come on, Danny. That was good.
No.
Come on.
No.
It was thought up like as I said it. There's sweet emotion in it.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
If it's in the moment, okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
The thing is, Armageddon just feels to me like it's doing its darndest to be a Roland Emmerich copycat. Yeah. It's not even the, it's such a, it's such a like.
What movies had he done at that point? Was he around at that point?
Yeah,
Independence Day had come out. Yeah.
I think Independence Day's mid-90s.
96.
So it's such a, and then to have it not even be a unique, like the astronaut or the asteroid movie of that year because Deep Contact came out. Which
Okay, but it was the disaster movie of the year. I forgot to mention this. It was the second highest grossing movie of 1998, followed only by Titanic, one of the highest grossing movies ever.
That's a good
that was
point.
97 though.
It was 98 box office.
Because Titanic was in the theater for like a year.
Yeah, like the 98
Yeah.
box office, it was number one.
Yeah, Titanic's fucking
Armageddon
nuts.
was number 2 in the entire year.
Well, I can tell you,
Cameron can afford all those Avatar tickets.
Yeah.
he bought those Avatar 2 tickets. He had to.
The Avatar 2 tickets.
The Avatar 2,
definitely.
yeah, the first one's a fluke.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Avatar 2, he bought those
Yeah,
tickets.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Wait
didn't
for
beat.
Fight on Ash, baby.
But the box office did not beat Phantom Menace.
That's true.
I mean, probably not, but
Freddy Got
a year
Fingered.
later.
I don't think anybody saw that in theaters.
I don't know if it was released.
I gotta say,
loud.
there's a genius thing on the DVD commentary track for Freddy Got Fingered where it's a live audience reaction, and it starts off with the laughter, and immediately at the horse scene, everyone turns on the movie, and then the rest of it is just quiet. It's the best. It's so funny.
That's the best part of the movie.
James, you make a really good point about you referenced like Deep Impact and all that kind of stuff.
See,
The
I
thing
think Deep
is,
Impact's better than Armageddon.
I can't speak to Deep Impact, but what I will say is that Armageddon does what all those movies does in a longer time, and it feels longer. That movie's 2.5 hours
It
long.
is.
What, Deep Impact?
Armageddon.
It's 2.5.
2.5, man, and it's just exhausting for me.
Yeah, Danny. There was at least an hour left after you left.
Was there just like a director's cut where Ben Affleck just talks more about animal crackers and then tries to finger Liv Tyler with the animal cracker?
Yes.
Just a whole extended scene.
yes.
Actually, Ben Affleck, I wonder what he thinks of the movie because he said that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the dumbest movie he's ever worked on.
And when he told it to Michael Bay, his idea, he said, "Fuck you." That was Michael Bay's
Yeah.
response. Because there's an infamous track out there, and the movie does explain this. It's just not. Ben just didn't read the script, I guess.
No.
Not that it's a valid
I
excuse,
brought this up
but
last
it is
night.
an excuse. He says, "Why on earth would they not just train astronauts to drill in space? You'd think that's the easier thing."
So drillers becoming astronauts.
Yeah, and Michael Bay's response was, "Fuck you." Shut the fuck
I
up.
thought you explained.
No, when Ben Affleck asked, Michael Bay's answer was "fuck you."
Yeah.
In the movie, they explain that, my boys have been doing this for years. They know how to drill on every surface on Earth. They just got to walk around in space, but they don't got to be astronauts. Just send my boys up and train them how to do the basics of spacewalking instead of teach astronauts the basics of mining.
All right, I got one more question here. Danny, I have a question for you. Can you go a little more into the why you like Phantom Menace besides the complex and political layers of it?
Well, because of Dave Filoni, who's the showrunner for Clone Wars and a bunch of other Star Wars stuff, he brought to a very good point the whole reason behind Duel of the Fates, and it's the sparking and beginning of the lore of Star Wars, and it's almost like the whole movie is like almost like an extended prologue for everything that happens in the rest of the saga, and I think that's just so beautiful. Where he's like, well, the Duel of the Fates is called that because Anakin is the one whose destiny is in the balance. And if Qui-Gon dies, which he does in this movie, that sets up a whole chain reactions for what he eventually becomes. It's like the impetus for everything that happens in the rest of Star Wars. And I think that's so amazing that that George is able to throw that in there while also changing the meaning of Star Wars. It used to be this small little tiny, we're friends, we took down an empire, yay. Yeah. Introduced this entire complex, like when you think the lore of Star Wars, because I watched this all in order, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. When you go from 6 to 1, the world opens the fuck up. Like the movie itself starts off. It's really cool how it's structured because it starts off with 2 Jedi. I have a bad feeling about this on this little diplomatic mission, and then they meet this slave boy, and they meet this Padme and this queen and everything. It's a small group of characters. They get to Coruscant, and the whole world just opens right up, and it's so cool. And from there, they establish the entire rest of Star Wars from there.
Right.
Sure, there's small points that you can cut down the movie with Jar Jar, even though that spawned one of the most entertaining fan theories I've ever been a part of, where he's Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Of course you do.
I don't like the character. And that's just George Lucas not being able to blend the two together.
Yeah.
But I still think because it's so layered and complex, there's way more to offer in this movie, and it's not just that dumb space movie with that space alien being annoying, or it's the beginning of like a love story. It's the last act that you were bringing up, where how it's kind of all underbaked. I just disagree, because I think. The reason you think it's underbaked is because there's one part of that that's so fucking good. The other parts are great, but it just doesn't live up to the greatness of Duel of Fates. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the space battle, I think, is the most undercooked. But I think if that were just in like an Armageddon per se, that would be like, oh, it's good. It's really good. And then you have the infiltration with Padme going into the palace to kill Newt Gunray and everything. That's cool too, because it's more of like that's the more conspiracy angle that they're going for. She's reclaiming her planet.
Political intrigue.
Yeah, it's like that. And then obviously Duel of Fates is just classic. It's still brought up as one of the best lightsaber fights, or fights in general, in movies. And yeah, I just like the idea of that the movie goes from small to big, and we stay big until the end of that trilogy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But then it led into Attack of the Clones, which is
Right,
one
this
of
isn't
the
about Attack of the Clones.
freaking worst Star Wars movies.
This isn't about Attack on the Clones, though.
but it allowed it to happen.
And then I would also say, just the way that everything's done, I feel like George Lucas is such like a, let's put the camera down. We're just going to do a wide shot. And then we'll do a close up. It's for him. For his blocking is so like just.
Isn't this like one of the only movies he's actually directed? I know A
He's
New
done 1
Hope
through
and like
3.
American.
and 4
And 4.
He did A New Hope, and didn't he direct American Graffiti as well?
American
Yep,
Graffiti.
that's his first movie.
THX 1130.
Oh, right, that's his first
Right,
movie.
right. Yeah. But yeah, he was still, I guess, a little newer to being a director.
Yeah, I mean, he's not known for his directing style. He's known for, I call him a
World building,
story guy, not a screenplay guy or a director. He has this giant lore, this idea in his head for Star Wars, and I think it's awesome. His ideas of, I want to show how a society collapses, how a government gets taken over, and I thought it was genius how they did it later on. But this is the starting blocks. You have those seeds implanted here. I don't even think. I mean, that's my take on Phantom Menace. Freddy Got Fingered, I don't even think is a movie. Armageddon
About
isn't
Phantom
even...
Menace, real quick. Do you think George Lucas had any of this planned back in 1977?
No.
I agree.
Not in explicit detail, because nobody does.
I don't think he had any of this thought out personally.
Yeah.
I think he made it all up as he went along, and it
Every
shows.
single bit.
I think episode 3 shows him really scrambling.
I think he had the idea of there's a slave boy that turns into the darkest character in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Very, very like on the surface thinking, because I think as somebody who's trying to write something like that, I don't have all the details planned out yet. I have a bunch of small seeds of ideas. I'm like, oh, maybe I can look that back. So yeah, it's a little messy. That happens with TV shows like Breaking Bad. Famously, was made up along the way. I think it's the talented people like George Lucas that can make it work. He's not the best at it, of course, but he made it work. He told this interesting story, and just retroactively said, "Oh, this is how it became that." Like, oh fuck, that's awesome. Introduces the bad guy, introduces this whole Jedi Order, introduces how their conflicts in between. With Sam Jackson, there's already conflict there, and it's like it's almost like a TV show. But because I call it episodes, right? I just think it's like it has so much more to offer than people have ever given it credit for. Because like whenever you say, "Oh, my favorite movie is Phantom Menace," you're like, like even I say it now, like I Phantom Menaced it. Like I expected it. I wanted to like it so bad. I thought it was good. Thank you, Chris Stuckman, for that. Because
Chris.
so like I Phantom Menaced Halloween Kills, and now I finally come around. Like it's not that great. But yeah.
Any last thoughts from James or Cameron?
Are these like closing arguments, Dan?
Yeah, I think we're actually moving on to that. Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay.
We're getting a little low on time here.
Gotcha.
So.
We want to do it the way we did
We'll
the
do
opening?
it. Yep, we'll start with James. Closing arguments.
Oh no. How long is this?
1 minute. Same thing. All right. Ready?
Not really, but
All right, make it up as you go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, you're on.
in summation, Armageddon is just wonderful to just turn on the TV, sit back, and turn your brain off. It is pure action mush, and it is so entertaining to me to watch that I love it so much. Freddy Got Fingered, I cannot say any of the same. There is nothing positive still I can say about that movie after all of this. I will stay there till the day I die. Phantom Menace, and this is a tough one. I like Star Wars. I don't like you right now. So I can't, it's tough to say, but I think I'll say exactly what I said before in that Jar Jar Binks. It was freaking unbelievable. So to close in summation, I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to close my eyes. Because when I fall asleep, I miss you, baby.
Wow. All right, that was well timed. Cameron.
Yeah.
3, 2, go.
There's a scene in Freddy Got Fingered towards the middle where Gord is destroying a restaurant with his father, and the waitress comes up to him and says, "You can't do this in here. This is a fancy restaurant." And yes, that is what he's doing. This is a fancy Hollywood system, and he doesn't give a fuck. And that's something that I really love, because I think that's what comedy's supposed to do. I don't think it's supposed to be interested in staying in any line. I mean, sure, you might disagree with it, but I would much rather talk about Freddy Got Fingered than fall asleep during 51st Dates or something. James, I totally agree. Armageddon is a movie you should turn your brain off as you watch it. And Phantom Menace, I really don't have anything else to say because I am just so uninterested in it. That's really all I have to say on that. And then one last final thing I want to point out about the horse scene. It is a setup to the payoff at the end when he jacks off the elephant and douses his father in elephant semen.
It's
Set
so
up,
confusing for
payoff.
people who've never seen this movie. Like,
So I would
let's
encourage.
watch this.
So I would encourage the people at home to watch Freddy Got Fingered.
And I would not.
I'd say save your time, save your soul. Do not watch this movie.
I can't believe this man
All
is
right,
married
Danny.
to Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
Was, yeah, was.
she
you
got
ready?
out.
You ready, Dan?
Good. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, you're on.
Yeah. So in closing, Phantom Menace, I think way more to offer than people ever give it credit for. Armageddon isn't even it's not really a good Michael Bay movie either. Like it kind of doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything that he's not like wasn't already known for, and it's just like he's already done like The Rock is better, like other movies. Freddy Got Fingered. No, just I don't understand. It's a movie designed to piss me off. It's like a Last Jedi for me, and I can't accept that it's a movie. Like I understand because you're more used to dissecting movies, so that's why it's probably more like a thing that easier for you to get on that level with it. I have just never. I can't do that. Yeah, Armageddon sucks though.
Okay, we have come to the final decision. So, I'm going to start with Freddy Got Fingered here. All right, so awful movie personally. That's all I'm going to say personally. So
It's not you. It's
Oh, no, I know.
nobody wants to watch this movie. I guess maybe the title will grab people to bring them in to watch the movie, but like they're gonna turn it off in the first 10 minutes when you see him jacking off a horse, so, like we did. So I mean, whatever.
So wait, Dan, were you with me in Chris?
Yes.
When we, okay. It was
Anyway.
either Dan or you.
It was not me.
Yeah.
And I get why you say it's political, or not political, Jesus Christ, satire
Yeah,
in
there you
general.
go, there you
I don't know why I wanted to say political satire, but it's
Could be.
satire. But yeah, I mean, I liked what you said about the love interest thing and how he just
Yes.
doesn't care for how love interests are portrayed in movies in
Yes.
Helicopter. I liked that theory. It does not make up for the movie though. So no matter how much it's just satire. I don't know. That's all I got. You are out. I'm unfortunately going to say.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Now between Armageddon and Phantom Menace. Oh boy. All right. So Armageddon, I agree, is a turn your brain off movie, James. It's got an absolute killer soundtrack and cast. But as I believe Danny pointed out, or Cameron, one of them pointed out, it has 6 writers on the movie. I didn't even realize that. That's fucking ridiculous, and it is not well written whatsoever.
It's
But
It's sort of what the defining definition of what makes a cracker.
what horse? It was a horse by committee or something.
But it was the second highest grossing movie of 1998. Some fucking how. Whatever. But it's long as shit. You could have cut like 30 minutes out of this movie and it would have been the same exact thing. So didn't need to see a lot of this movie. But yeah, Michael Bay has an ego issue. We know. We all know that. So and Phantom Menace. Yeah, it's a good movie with a lot of complex political themes. I really liked what you said about that, Danny. But as Cameron said, yeah, it's undercooked. It's a mess, and at the end, sort of. But honestly, he made Jar Jar for kids as well. So like, who cares? He wanted to, get a new little.
Also made the Ewoks
figure.
for kids.
All right, we're not talking about that.
They
We're
were
talking
supposed to
about
be
Phantom Menace.
Wookiees.
Oh, really?
So, overall, I just really liked how Danny put together Phantom Menace, and yeah, it's the spark of the series. It opened up the whole world for Star Wars, and that is why Phantom Menace is going to win.
Yay!
I am very proud of you. Very, very well done, Danny. So this is our first episode of Duel of the Debates. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, I had fun writing down all my little notes here.
I had fun
other
talking
things.
with you
I just
guys.
want to show you guys my notes for these.
I can't see.
It's just all the things he wouldn't want to do was they're watching Freddy Got Fingered.
And then-
Oh my god.
And then Armageddon.
And it's just a white screen.
Yeah, literally, it's just Phantom Menace. Everything about that I listed for Freddy Got Fingered, then Armageddon. It's like nothing else. And I have no other notes for anything else. So.
It's still more than I have.
All right. So, Danny, you want to start wrapping this baby up here?
All right, I'll wrap up the baby. I don't want to close my eyes. All right. We are Duel of the Debates. You can find us at Duel of the Debates on Instagram and TikTok. We're going to post TikToks there. This is a new channel. We're also Seen It Before as our other podcast, the host of that.
That's SCENE It Beforecast.
Yep, that's his thing. And then I'm Danny. You can find me at Danny_Was on Instagram, or my letterbox and serialized at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was.
I'm Dan.
He's Dan. Sorry.
Find me on Instagram with I don't actually, I don't even remember my Instagram. So
Dan the Donut Man _1 because I have to
you.
look at it every time I edit.
Thank you. And it's Donutman96 on Letterboxd. All right, these guys.
Hi, I'm James. Thank you. You can find me on Letterbox at James81XA.
Love it.
Nice.
You can find me on Letterboxd, Cam Kircher. I talk about other movies, not
talks
just the one.
lots of
Lot,
movies.
not just
Yeah.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah,
He's
not
got
just-
some great insight on his Letterbox.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that.
And I saw your review of Dazed and Confused, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, you're so right, because they are kind of annoying.
Yeah.
but it is kind of fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, until next time.
See you next time.
Yeah.